Welcome back to TVP Wildlife, your trusted channel for deep and thrilling explorations of the natural world. Today, we embark on a captivating journey into the world of one of Earth's most resilient and awe-inspiring creatures, the buffalo. Revered in some cultures, feared in others, and relied upon by millions, the buffalo is more than just a large grazing mammal. It is a guardian of grasslands, a warrior of the wild, and a vital cornerstone of both ecology and human livelihood. In this opening chapter, we will delve into the evolution, physical characteristics, behavioral traits, and ecological roles of buffalo species across continents. From the swampy deltas of Asia to the golden savannas of Africa, buffaloes have carved a place for themselves in both untamed nature and human history. The buffalo belongs to the Bovidae family, which also includes antelopes, goats, and cattle. The two major types of buffalo are the African buffalo Cincerus caffer, the Asian water buffalo Bubalus bubalus, which includes both wild and domestic types. These animals diverged millions of years ago from a common ancestor. Fossil evidence shows buffalo ancestors existed in South Asia over 5 million years ago. Through epochs of climate shifts, habitat changes, and predator pressures, buffaloes evolved thick hides, strong frames, and herd behaviors that ensured survival. The wild water buffalo Bubalus arni is considered the progenitor of domestic buffaloes and remains critically endangered. Meanwhile, African buffaloes maintain their wild nature, never being domesticated despite their proximity to early human settlements. Buffaloes are spread across sub-Saharan Africa, South and Southeast Asia, and parts of Australia. Introduced populations. Their habitat preferences are tied closely to water availability and grazing conditions. African buffaloes inhabit savannas, floodplains, and woodlands, thriving in areas such as the Serengeti, Kruger, and Okavango. Asian water buffaloes frequent marshlands, rice paddies, and forest edges, especially in India, Nepal, Thailand, Vietnam, and the Philippines. Buffaloes require daily access to water for drinking and wallowing. Their habitats range from hot lowlands to cool, hilly terrains. The presence of buffaloes significantly impacts the structure and nutrient cycles of these ecosystems. Buffaloes are impressive in size and stature. Weight: 5001 to 00 x. Holder height: 1.3 minus 1.7 meters. Lifespan: 18 to 25 years in the wild. They are characterized by large curved horns, used for defense and dominance, coarse skin to protect against predators and parasites, robust musculature, especially in the neck and shoulders, broad hooves, enabling them to move across muddy or uneven terrain. The horn structure varies between species. African buffaloes have fused horn bases called bosses, particularly prominent in males. Asian buffaloes display more backward sweeping horns with a wider spread. Buffaloes have keen senses of smell and hearing, helping them detect predators and communicate within herds. Though their eyesight is average, their group coordination and alarm calls create an effective collective awareness. Buffaloes are social animals. Most species live in herds that can range from 10 to over 1,000 individuals, depending on food availability and predator pressure. Matriarchal herds are common, led by experienced females. Bacular groups of males form during non-mating season. Solitary bulls may be old or displaced by stronger rivals. Buffaloes are known for group protection strategies, forming a circle around calves during attacks. Warning signals such as grunts, snorts, and tail flicks synchronized movements while migrating or foraging. Herds often congregate around watering holes, where social behaviors such as grooming, wallowing, and sparring occur. The wallowing behavior also helps regulate body temperature and remove parasites. Despite their herbivorous nature, buffaloes are known for their aggression when threatened. Many predators, including lions, tigers, crocodiles, and leopards, have been fatally injured during failed attacks. Breeding patterns differ by region, but often align with seasonal rain and food abundance. Gestation period: 10–11 months. Single calf born. Twins or rear calves can stand within minutes of birth. Nursing lasts 6 to 9 months, with weaning by 1 year. Female buffaloes typically give birth every 2 to 3 years, depending on health and environmental conditions. Herds often protect and collectively raise calves, increasing survival rates. Dominance in males is determined through horn clashes and displays of strength. The victor earns access to females during the mating season. Buffaloes are ecosystem engineers, shaping the environment in profound ways. Grazing controls vegetation growth and maintains grassland. Balanced eating fertilizes the soil and sustains beetles. And other decomposerology creates wallows that become water basins for birds and amphibians. Dispersal through dung and movement across regions. Their presence ensures that other species, both prey and predator, thrive. In Africa, their grazing paves the way for zebras, gazelles, and even elephants. In Asia, rice farmers rely on their tilling behavior to aerate paddy fields. Buffaloes hold immense value in many traditional societies. In South Asia, water buffaloes are symbols of prosperity, often decorated during festivals. In Vietnam, they are considered part of the family, the farmer's first friend. In Thailand and Laos, water buffalo fighting events are held during New Year festivities. Economically, domestic buffaloes are vital for plowing and transport in rural agriculture. Milk production, especially in India and Pakistan, accounting for over 50% of dairy output. Manure, used for fertilizing crops and even fuel. Their milk is richer in fat and protein than cow's milk, making it ideal for products like mozzarella and yogurt. In modern times, buffaloes are being integrated into sustainable agriculture, with conservationists promoting their role in low-carbon farming. While domestic buffalo populations are rising, wild buffaloes are facing sharp declines. Habitat loss due to farming, logging, and urbanization. Between wild and domestic buffaloestheses spread from livestock, for example, foot and mouth disease, bovine tuberculosis, poaching, and illegal hunting. Wild water buffalo is listed as endangered by the IUCN, with fewer than 4,000 individuals remaining in fragmented habitats across India and Southeast Asia. In contrast, African buffaloes are listed as least concern, but some subspecies like the forest buffalo are declining due to human-wildlife conflict and poaching. Efforts to protect buffaloes include creating transboundary reservation-based monitoring of wild populations, conservation drives to prevent livestock-borne disease spillovers, community-based ecotourism that turns buffalo protection into economic incentive. Buffalo, with its raw strength, complex society, and deep cultural ties, stands as one of nature's most remarkable mammals. It is a bridge between wild ecosystems and human civilizations, one foot in the jungle, the other in the rice field. In the next chapter, we'll venture into the heart of Africa to meet one of its fiercest icons, the African buffalo. Discover how this unpredictable titan dominates the savannas, resists the lion's claws, and plays a pivotal role in the balance of life on the continent. Cape buffalo, the heavyweight contender. The Cape buffalo is a subspecies of the African buffalo, the most widespread and well-known. While the species as a whole can be found across sub-Saharan Africa, the Cape buffalo inhabits grasslands, savannas, and floodplains of southern and eastern Africa. These buffaloes are built for battle. Weight, up to 900 kilograms, 2,000 pounds. Height at shoulder, 1 to 5 meters. Color, dark brown to black. Horns, fused at the base into a solid boss in males, forming a continuous shield across the forehead. This horn boss, combined with thick hide and sheer mass, makes adult bulls nearly impervious to most predators. These features also play a role in dominance fights, where bulls lock horns in brutal duels that determine breeding rights. Cape buffaloes are known for their complex social structures. Herd sizes vary from 50 to over 1,000 individuals, depending on season and resource availability. There are two main types of groupings: breeding herds, dominated by females and their offspring, led by an older matriarch. Buckler herds, composed of younger or older males not actively breeding. These herds offer protection against predators through strength in numbers and sophisticated communication systems involving low grunts to maintain contact, snorts and huffs to signal alarm, body posturing to express mood, or rank. Cape buffaloes display altruistic behavior, often seen rescuing herd members from predator attacks. They use a defensive formation, encircling calves and weaker members while presenting horns outward. Few scenes in the African wilderness are more dramatic than a lion pride attempting to bring down a Cape buffalo. These encounters often resemble tactical warfare. Lions usually target young calves, the elderly, or isolated bulls. When cornered, a buffalo will charge with astonishing speed up to 35 km/h, sometimes goring its attacker. Herds will counter-attack and have been known to kill lions, flipping them with their horns or trampling them. These intense encounters are not just spectacles of nature. They are key dynamics that influence predator-prey balances and maintain the health of ecosystems. Cape buffaloes have earned the nickname Black Death in Africa due to their unpredictability and willingness to confront threats head-on. They are responsible for more fatal attacks on hunters and humans than most other African animals. Cape buffaloes are surprisingly adaptable. They inhabit a wide range of environments, including dry savannas with seasonal water source, floodplains rich in vegetation, wooded grasslands with mixed cover they need to drink daily, so their movements often follow the availability of water and fresh grass. Their digestive system allows them to efficiently extract nutrients from coarse vegetation, giving them an advantage in lean seasons. During droughts, Cape buffaloes may travel vast distances and form larger herds, creating pressure on resources, but improving group defense. Buffaloes are resilient, but they are also carriers of several diseases, notably bovine tuberculosis and mouth disease disease, East Coast fever. These illnesses not only affect buffalo populations, but can spill over to domestic cattle, leading to tensions between conservationists and farmers. Wildlife managers have introduced test and slaughter policies, vaccination efforts, and controlled zones to reduce cross-species contamination. However, these measures must be balanced with ethical concerns and the need to maintain genetic diversity. Breeding in Cape buffaloes is seasonal in some areas and year-round in others. Bulls fight fiercely during the mating season, and dominant individuals earn the right to mate. Gestation: 11-month single calf per birth. Calving peaks after the rainy season when food is abundant. Calves are hidden in dense grass for the first few weeks and guarded by both mothers and herd members. Survival rates are high due to collective defense and strategic hiding. Cape buffaloes can live up to 20 to 25 years in the wild, though older bulls often live solitary lives or in bachelor groups, becoming more aggressive and unpredictable. While Cape buffaloes are not currently endangered, their populations face pressure from habitat fragmentation, patching for meat, and trophies. Conflict with farmers over grazing land and disease transmission. They are listed as least concern by the IUCN, but localized declines have been noted where land use is changing rapidly. Successful conservation strategies include transfrontier parks, like the Great Limpopo Transfrontier Park, which allows buffaloes to roam across national borders. Community wildlife programs, involving local people in protection of forts. Ecotourism, generating revenue that incentivizes buffalo conservation. Cape buffalo is not just a brute force, but a symbol of Africa's raw and filtered wilderness. It represents the struggle for survival, the power of unity, and the balance of ecosystems where every species plays a role. Their presence signals a healthy habitat, and their interactions with lions, elephants, and other herbivores shape the face of the African savanna. They are neither fully wild nor easily tamed creatures of instinct, memory, and terrain. In our next installment, we travel eastward to the wetlands and rice paddies of Asia to explore the Asian water buffalo, a cousin of the Cape buffalo and a quiet hero of agriculture and rural life. Origins and domestication: a partnership forged in mud. The domestication of the water buffalo Bubalus bubalus is among the most successful animal-human partnerships in history. Archaeological and genetic evidence traces their domestication to India and China, possibly as early as 3000 BC. From there, domesticated buffalo spread across Asia and into Egypt, the Middle East, and eventually parts of Europe and South America. There are two major types of domesticated water buffaloes: river buffaloes, predominantly found in India, Pakistan, Iran, Egypt, and Italy. Known for high milk production. Swamp buffaloes, common in Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, China. Primarily used for draft and labor work. Unlike the untamable African buffalo, water buffaloes prove surprisingly amenable to domestication, thanks to their social structure, manageable temperament, and adaptability to human-controlled environments. The water buffalo is aptly named. It thrives in and around water-rich landscapes, such as rice paddies, marsha swampwam for sets river banks and delta regions. Its body is built for life in wet environments. Wide splayed hooves allow walking on soft, muddy terrain without sinking. Sparse hair and thick, dark skin help regulate heat and resist parasites. Prominent horns, often crescent-shaped or swept back, help in social dominance and cooling through blood circulation. The water buffalo's ability to thermoregulate through wallowing is essential. Without shade or water access, these animals suffer from heat stress. This bond with wetlands also makes them key players in shaping such ecosystems. For centuries, water buffaloes have been considered the living tractors of Asia. Their muscular strength, endurance, and calm demeanor make them ideal for labor-intensive rural economies. Roles in agriculture include plowing rice fields during wet and dry season, stilling and harrowing mud before planting, transporting goods and produce with carts or sledges, threshing grain by trampling after harvest. In regions where machinery is too expensive or terrain is difficult, buffaloes remain irreplaceable. They require no fuel, self-replicate, and contribute manure for fertilizer, creating a sustainable loop. Their slow, deliberate pace in the field is actually advantageous, reducing soil compaction and allowing better water retention in paddies. India, the world's largest milk producer, owes much of that title to the river buffalo. Buffalo milk accounts for over 50% of total dairy output in countries like India and Pakistan. Buffalo milk is richer in fat 6/8 than cow's milk, higher in protein, calcium, and minerals, wider and thicker. Ideal for cheese and yogurt production. Key products include mozzarella di bufala from Italy's Mediterranean bufala panner, staple cheese in Indian cuisine, yogurt, ghee, butter, and ice cream in rural households. The milk serves as both nutrition and income, with women often managing small-scale buffalo dairies. This has enhanced rural women's empowerment in many regions. In Asian societies, water buffaloes are more than beasts of burden. They are symbols of virtue and central figures in tradition and belief. In Vietnam, the buffalo is honored as the farmer's first friend. It appears in folk tales and children's songs, used in traditional painting and temple murals. In India, revered during harvest festivals like Pongal and Makar Sankranti, associated with Yama, the god of death, who rides a black buffalo, represented in mythology as a demon Mahishasura slain by goddess Durga. In Thailand and Laos, buffalo racing and fighting festivals are celebrated during New Year. Families bless buffaloes during spiritual ceremonies for fertility and rain. Such reverence underscores their spiritual connection with nature and agriculture. Buffaloes contribute across multiple fronts: employment, inbreeding, dairy, plowing, and transport. Trade. Buffalo hides, horns, and meat are vital exports. Insurance. In many villages, owning a buffalo is like holding an asset, a living bank. Water buffaloes are integral to microcredit systems where farmers use them as loan collateralizing dowries in some tribal cultures. Community, wealth, status. where the size and health of a buffalo herd reflect prosperity. Their low-cost upkeep, grazing on crop leftovers, drinking from ponds, makes them especially valuable to marginal farmers. While domestic buffalo populations are strong, the wild water buffalo faces severe threats. Fewer than 4,000 individuals remain in the wild, confined to India, Assam, Chhattisgarh, Nepal, Bhutan, and Cambodia, suffering from habitat fragmentation, hybridization, and disease spillover. Preserving the wild gene pool is crucial. Conservation efforts include breeding programs to maintain genetic diversity, product wetland zones in national parks like Kaziranga, India, fencing and disease control to prevent crossbreeding with domestic types. Organizations like the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) are working closely with local governments to track and protect pure wild populations. The story of the water buffalo is not just one of biology, it is a tale of coexistence, of animal and human working side by side through centuries. These creatures have fed, clothed, empowered, and sustained millions. They have carved out a niche that is both ecological and emotional. From the murky paddies of Vietnam to the bustling dairies of Punjab, the water buffalo remains a quiet titan, shaping lives and landscapes. In our next chapter, we journey into the complex web of challenges facing buffalo populations worldwide: diseases, human-wildlife conflict, habitat degradation, and the uncertain future of conservation. Habitat loss and fragmentation. Preface: the most significant challenge buffaloes face today is habitat loss. As human populations grow and land is cleared for agriculture, industry, and urban expansion, the natural habitats of buffaloes are shrinking rapidly. In Asia, wetlands and forests that once supported wild water buffalo are being converted into rice fields, plantations, and settlements. In Africa, savannas and floodplains are giving way to roads, villages, and fenced farmland. This fragmentation not only reduces the space buffaloes have to roam, but also isolates populations, limiting genetic diversity and increasing vulnerability to disease and environmental change. Moreover, seasonal migration routes are often blocked by human infrastructure, leading to overgrazing, water shortages, and competition within confined areas. The loss of wallowing grounds is particularly problematic, as it affects thermoregulation and parasite control. As buffaloes and humans increasingly occupy overlapping spaces, conflict is inevitable. Buffaloes, especially wild or semi-domesticated individuals, can cause damage to crops, water systems, and fences. In retaliation, farmers may resort to poisoning or snaring buffalo, shooting them to protect their land-destroying habitat. To deter wildlife return in parts of India, Nepal, and Vietnam, wild water buffaloes are considered dangerous pests. In sub-Saharan Africa, particularly in buffer zones near reserves, buffalo herds can devastate fields overnight. These conflicts are further aggravated during droughts or flooding, when buffaloes are forced to seek resources near human dwellings. The result is escalating tension, with buffaloes often paying the ultimate price. Buffaloes are susceptible to a number of infectious diseases, many of which are introduced or exacerbated by proximity to domestic livestock. Foot and mouth disease. FM'd bovine tuberculosis (BTB brucellosis) now eradicated globally, but once devastating, such diseases can decimate wild buffalo populations and affect human health and agriculture. Buffaloes can also become carriers, creating a biological bridge between wildlife and livestock. In Asia, another concern is hybridization between domestic and wild buffaloes. While domestic buffaloes are integral to rural economies, their interbreeding with wild relatives dilutes the genetic purity of wild populations. This fitness and adaptive traits makes conservation efforts more complex today. There are only a few truly wild water buffaloes left, mainly in Assam, India, and parts of Cambodia. In Thailand, climate change is emerging as a subtle yet far-reaching threat. Altered rainfall patterns, prolonged droughts, and rising temperatures are affecting the availability of water bodies for drinking and wallowing grazing lands with nutritious foragesafe breeding grounds in Africa. Droughts have led to widespread death in buffalo populations, especially during El Niño events. Bushfires, intensified by dry conditions, also destroy crucial habitat. In Asia, flooded paddy fields and disrupted monsoon seasons throw off the traditional farming cycles that water buffaloes depend on. Climate-induced habitat shifts may force buffaloes into higher altitudes or human territories, increasing both stress and conflict. Buffaloes, especially in Africa, are targeted for their meat, horns, and skins. Though not as sought after as elephants or rhinos, they are still victims of bushmeat hunting, particularly in unregulated or retaliatory killings that go unreported in Southeast Asia. Wild buffalo horns are sometimes used in traditional medicine or sold as exotic trophies. While these practices are culturally ingrained in some regions, they contribute to population declines when done unsustainably. Poaching is particularly devastating in small, fragmented populations. Killing a few individuals can tip the balance toward local extinction, especially if dominant breeders or protective matriarchs are lost. Despite these threats, there are inspiring efforts around the world aimed at buffalo conservation. Protected areas and wildlife corridors. Governments and NGOs are establishing protected reserves, buffer zones, and corridors to facilitate safe movement and breeding. Notable examples include Kaziranga National Park, India, a stronghold of wild water buffalo. Kruger National Park, South Africa, home to large Cape buffalo herds. Okavango Delta, Botswana, balancing tourism and conservation. Corridors like the Terai Arc in Nepal and Greater Mekong region allow buffaloes to migrate and maintain healthy gene flow. Anti-poaching and monitoring. Innovative surveillance systems, including drones, camera traps, and ranger patrols, have improved the protection of buffalo habitats. Community ranger programs also engage local youth in conservation, turning would-be poachers into protectors. Some countries have implemented DNA testing to track and identify wild buffalo lineages, ensuring that rewilding or breeding programs maintain genetic integrity. The most sustainable buffalo conservation strategies are those that include local communities. Ecotourism centered on buffalo herds provides income for villagers. Buffalo festivals and cultural education programs raise awareness. Compendiation schemes help farmers recover losses from buffalo raids in Thailand. The Phathalang Buffalo Conservation Project involves local farmers in breeding native buffalo and using them for eco-farming. In India, tribal communities in Assam are engaged in buffer zone protection with support from NGOs. Such initiatives recognize that conservation cannot happen in isolation. Only by aligning local interests with environmental goals can buffalo populations truly thrive. To ensure a future for the buffalo, we must preserve and reconnect natural habitats, control disease spread through livestock vaccination programs, respect indigenous knowledge and cultural values, fund scientific research on buffalo behavior and genetics, promote cross-border cooperation in conservation. Buffalo is not just an animal, it is a symbol of resilience, a keystone species, and a bridge between human history and wild nature. Protecting it means protecting the ecosystems and rural communities that depend on it. In our final chapter, we will look toward the horizon. Join us in part 5 for an inspiring conclusion that celebrates the enduring legacy of the buffalo and envisions a world where humans and wildlife thrive together. Buffaloes are more than just beasts of burden or meat providers, they represent a way of life that is deeply rooted in harmony with nature. In rural regions of Asia and Africa, they embody a sustainable model of farming, resource use, and community living. Yet, as modernization sweeps across developing nations, mechanization often replaces buffalo labor. Tractors, synthetic fertilizers, and factory-farmed dairy products are marginalizing the traditional role of buffaloes. But in many places, especially where infrastructure is limited or ecological farming is preferred, buffaloes remain indispensable. Their low carbon footprint, manure recycling abilities, and compatibility with small-scale farming make them key to sustainable rural development. Climate change poses a serious threat to buffalo populations and the ecosystems they inhabit. Water scarcity impacts buffaloes more directly than many animals, as they require daily wallowing and frequent hydration. Changing rainfall patterns affect grassland quality, leading to poor grazing conditions and higher disease risks. Rising temperatures can cause heat stress, particularly in domestic buffalo breeds not adapted to extreme climates. Moreover, shifting ecological zones may push wild buffaloes into human settlements, escalating human-wildlife conflict. Encounters that once were rare are becoming frequent in places like Assam, India, or Zambia, where wild buffaloes stray into farms, damaging crops and sometimes injuring people. The rise of industrial agriculture has reshaped the narrative of food production and livestock farming. In many countries, crossbreeding for higher milk yields, factory farming buffaloes, and antibiotic use are becoming common. While this boosts production, it also raises serious concerns. Loss of genetic diversity as native buffalo breeds are higher. Methane emissions due to overfeeding and confinement increase disease outbreaks in tightly packed buffalo dairies. Contrast this with traditional practices. Grazing-based herding systems, organic manure loops between farm and field community ownership. Models that prioritize animal welfare. Rather is growing advocacy for agroecology, where buffaloes are integrated into closed-loop farming systems, reducing waste and enhancing soil health. This model offers a blueprint for climate-resilient agriculture. Protecting buffaloes, especially wild populations, cannot succeed without community engagement. In regions like Kaziranga, India, or the Okavango Delta, Botswana, conservationists are working hand-in-hand with locals to educate people about the ecological role of buffaloes. Provide compensation for crop losses due to buffalo incursions. Develop ecotourism programs that channel money into communities. An inspiring example, the Buffalo Guardians Initiative in northern Thailand, where youth are trained to monitor buffalo populations and prevent illegal hunting. These guardians also document buffalo movements and help farmers coexist with nearby herds. Moreover, reintroducing buffaloes into former habitats like the Tarai grasslands of Nepal or the floodplains of Australia has brought ecological benefits such as revival of native vegetation, rebirth of prey-predator dynamics, replenishment of wetlands used by amphibians and birds. Modern science is playing an increasingly important role in buffalo conservation and management. Genomic studies help identify and preserve rare buffalo lineage. Isolate tracking collars allow researchers to monitor wild herds in real-time. Thermal imaging is used to detect illnesses before symptoms. API-based disease prediction tools are being tested in buffalo dairy scene. Addition, bio-fortified feeds and climate-resilient breed selection are being promoted to ensure buffalo health and productivity under changing climatic conditions. Such tools also aid policymakers in making data-driven decisions about where to build reserves, how to distribute vaccines, and how to support buffalo-based livelihoods sustainably. While conservation is often driven by science, culture plays a vital role in changing perceptions. In recent years, many regions have started reviving traditional festivals, art, and rituals that celebrate the buffalo. For instance, in Vietnam, buffalo festivals are seeing a resurgence, where villagers honor the animal with music, dance, and offerings. Philippine farming cooperatives organize water buffalo races to attract tourists and raise funds for buffalo breeding programs. In India, the practice of decorating buffaloes during Diwali or Pongal has been combined with educational campaigns about animal welfare. These cultural revivals are not merely nostalgic. They serve as powerful public awareness platforms that reconnect people with the natural world and inspire conservation. Documentaries, school curriculum modules, and children's books are now spotlighting buffaloes as ecological heroes, not just beasts of burden. In a time of environmental crises and agricultural transitions, buffaloes offer a bridge between past wisdom and future resilience. Their ability to thrive in marginal lands, their deep integration into cultural practices, and their ecological services make them irreplaceable. However, their future hangs in the balance. Will they continue to roam the grasslands and wade through wetlands, or will they be reduced to zoo exhibits and factory farming units? That answer depends on all of us: governments, farmers, scientists, activists, and everyday citizens. Buffaloes, in all their strength and silence, remind us of the raw power of coexistence. They are living testaments to resilience, balance, and tradition. As we move forward, let's ensure that the landscapes of the future still echo with the low, thunderous calls of these magnificent beasts. Thank you for journeying with us through this special on the mighty buffalo, brought to you by TVP Wildlife. If you enjoyed this series, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more wildlife stories that matter. Until next time, keep exploring, keep protecting, and never stop listening to the call of the wild.